This is a demonstration of the Lynx platform services.
You can find all of the available services if you go on our website, then click on Resources and Services APIs. Here you can see all of the available APIs. The basic platform services are the Workflow Manager, the Document Manager, and the Authentication and the Identity Manager. We will use the Postman client to make all the requests today for the demonstration. You can easily import all of the specifications of the APIs in Postman by using the import function and then import the link here of its specific service API. I have already imported the APIs for the Document Manager and the Workflow Manager.
The Workflow Manager offers two endpoints. One is about instances and the other is about tags. Let's now create a new population workflow instance. This is a post request. You need to define some parameters to modify the population workflow, and you need also to provide some input for the body of the request. This is actually the Lynx document that we will use for this demonstration. As you can see, this is a JSON file. It contains different metadata that describe the document. It also defines some parts on the text, which is actually the paragraphs or different sections of the document, and here is the text. As you can see, the text is in Dutch. On the top of the document, we can see the metadata of the document. This looks like a simple JSON file, but in fact it is a JSON LD. It is RDF. Next, we need to define the parameters of the call. Here you can see all the different parameters you can define. The first one is called Document Platform. Here you can define the different document platforms that you want to use in order to store the document. For the demonstration, we use the LDP implementation. As you can see, I'm using environment variables and this is set to be LDP. Next, we need to define the collection ID. This is set to be webinar. For the demonstration, we do not want to index this document into the search service, but we want to use the entity linking service. For this, we need to provide the entity linking project ID. This is the ID of the consent scheme we want to use in order to annotate our text. We need also to provide some ID of the model that we will use to translate the text from Dutch to English. For this, I need to check out this. We do not want translation to other languages, just in English, and I need to provide the model. Here you can see the idea of the translation model. There exist different models that map input language to output language. We do not want to use other annotation services, just the entity linking one, so I'm also switching off this. And we set the tag to be webinar again, so we can check its status later. This is set to be webinar again. So now I'm ready to execute the call. I click on send, and as you can see, my request was rejected because I was not logged in the platform. This response was 403 forbidden access. So for this I need to be authorized. I go on this collection and I just use the kick log to get a new token. As you can see, all these parameters are already pre-filled by the OpenAPI specification of the call, and I just need to log in. I get a new access token. I need to provide my credentials. So now I got the token and I will use it for the call. Here I also need to specify the token. As you can see, I can just use to inherit the auth from parent. So if I click on send, you can see that my request was accepted. I got the workflow instance ID, which I will save to use it later. and we get also the document ID, which I will also use. So now we can check the population workflow. We should go on this request. It is a GET request. The only thing we need to provide is the workflow instance ID. If I click on Send, I get the response, and we see that this population workflow instance has already completed. If there was any error during the execution, this would be reported here. Now I will switch to the document manager. I will open this API, and as you can see, the document manager API offers 3 different endpoints, one for collections, one for documents, and one for annotations, where you can actually do different CRUD operations on each of these instances. So here I just want to get the document that we ingested before with the population workflow. There is this endpoint about documents where I can get to retrieve the existing document. So this is just a GET request. I need to provide the collection ID, which is set as before in webinar, and also the document ID, which is also the ID that we got from the population workflow. This is actually the URI of the document, so it is the ID that you will see on the RDF representation of the document. If I click on Send, I get a 403 forbidden because I have no access to this. But if I log in, I will use again keycloak for this and get a new access token. So now redo the request. And as you can see, I can now access the document. This is in RDF in turtle representation. And as you can see, there are already annotations from the entity linking service. You can get the document in other serialization as well if you define a different header in the accept content header. So here we can define this to be application LD plus JSON or simple JSON. It's equivalent for our service. And you will get this document into JSON LD. Here you can see it is the same document that we had before, but this time it contains also annotations from the entity linking service and the translation from the translation service. Here are the annotations that were produced by the entity linking service. It found about 26 different annotations on the document, and here we can see also the translation that was produced by the translation service. It is in English. Thank you for watching this demonstration.